You're listening to the Dragon Between podcast, a 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons campaign set in the Eberron pulp fantasy setting created by Keith Baker. New episodes are recorded every Sunday and released on the following week. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel for clips and future episodes. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter for updates and news on the podcast. And now on with the show! When the characters last met, the group had just completed gathering in a clearing, following the death of a wyvern that had attempted to attack and eat Auri, or worse. As the group set about to investigating the corpse of the creature, two strangers came barreling out of the thicket, one of them knocking an arrow and firing it near the group. These newcomers identified themselves as a pair of sisters who claimed that the kill that the group had just taken was in fact their kill. The group identified themselves as Kasha and Lorana, natives of the Karnath nation, and claimed to be hunting the woods of Braylon for some creatures known as Ankeg. After a bit of dispute over the body of the wyvern, offered the group some work to assist them in hunting down these Ankeg, tracking them to their hive and obtaining some of their eggs. The group declined, however, seeing as how they needed to make haste and chase after their quarry of Elric Fateweaver. The group then decided to bed down for the evening and tend to processing and curing and tanning their kill. After a bit of frivolity, Gunthral and Kasha, the older sister, took a liking to each other and decided to have a little roll in the hay, so to speak. More hilarity ensued as the group uncomfortably got to know the younger sister, Lorana, and the group shared their current journey and the direction in which they were heading. The watch was eventually called, the sisters taking the second watch, allowing the group to rest and refresh themselves for the next day. Upon waking the next morning, however, the sisters were gone. All traces of them all but evaporated in the night. The group then set out back onto the open road, leading their mage-bred horses east. After some time running their horses out a bit more than the standard pace, attempting to catch up on some time, the group found themselves suddenly ambushed on the road by a tribe of hobgoblins riding on large wargs. After a pitched battle with these wargs and these warg-riding hobgoblins, which resulted in the death of 3 of the group's mage-bred horses, the party were finally victorious, destroying these hobgoblin as the group began to gather their wits and assess the damage that this battle had done to them and to their charges, their rides. They noticed in the distance shining armor on the horizon coming from the west as a contingent of House-Beneath Blades rode down on the group, investigating this disturbance, led by a man named Connor Lethric of House-Beneath. The group were then taken in by the House-Beneath Blades, who vowed to assist them in their journey to the nearest settlement, being Zilspar. The group assembled on the remaining horses and rode off into the distance with this detachment of House-Beneath Blades, 2 rows guarding them from the north and the southern faces of the grasslands. They headed off to the east, with the midday sun bearing down on them, the sounds of the forest and the wind drifting in. You all hear the brisk clip-clop of the horses on the somewhat gravelly, stony road, and with Gunthral riding with Auri in his saddle, Lithana leaping into Ender's saddle of his horse, his remaining magebred horse, and Eli riding on his crystal sled, his soar sled. Connor Lethric riding at the front of his detachment, looking back at all of you, says, "Well, it seems like we arrived just in time. I'm so sorry that we weren't able to assist you during the fight."
Oh, that's all right. Do you got any healing potion?
Oh, of course. And he begins to now pull out a few provisions, and which I will go ahead and throw into the party's inventory, along with items that you were all able to obtain as you were rifling through the belongings of the fallen hobgoblins. And I will put that in the party's inventory as well. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there were also items that haven't been assigned to anyone that have been floating around in Gunny's bag. So there are other items in there in addition to the items that I just put in there.
What do you mean in my bag? Yeah, I got stuff in my bag.
So in addition to the items that were already in Gunny's bag, which I will assign to Gunthral,
Looks like you guys don't have anything.
and other than that, the Eli and Lithana, you were able to find. Lithana, you found a bit of paper, a little note of some sort. You also found what appears to be some sort of smoking pipe. You found some sort of bottle, a crystal bottle, on the body of the Hobgoblin Devastator. And Eli, you found his what appears to be his spell book, as well as a few what appears to be a scroll of some sort. And
Okay.
you were also able to strip off some long swords, some long bows, and a couple of sets of studded leather that weren't completely ruined with holes and from the fireball spell that went off. And Connor also gives you all 2 potions of healing. So if you look in the inventory now, those items you can... who wants the longbows? I'll go ahead and just give all these items out. Everything that I've already previously marked are still in Gunny's sack. The spellbook, I assume you want that, Eli?
Yes.
And the scroll?
Yes.
Okay. What
I have
about...
no need for the weapons or the bows, but I can hold on to them if you need help.
Are you trying to grab my sack, Eli?
He's trying to grab your sack.
No.
I knew we cuddled, the other night. But,
I will say that the potions of healing are in Auri's possession. Connor gifted them to her because he saw how distraught she was over the deaths of the horses. And Lithana, you have the unidentified potion in your possession. And I'll just say the longbows and longsword. We'll say that the Ender picked up the longbows.
Okay.
how can I target the people in the party right now?
Go into the combat tracker.
Ah.
Lithana, roll a d10 for me.
Okay.
Okay.
7.
All right. 3 of your arrows were unfortunately broken. Let's see. Alright, I think I have everything assigned.
Thank you, Gunthrow, for the heal.
There we go. I've gone ahead and given all those items to you guys. Should appear in your inventory now.
Ah, yes. Oh, that is very cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty neat little feature that Fantasy Grounds has that allows you to just type in the first few letters of someone's name in the party, and I can assign those items to you individually. I don't have to drag and drop them.
Oh, sweet.
I should ask, Lithana, did you attempt to read that note that you grabbed off of that gentleman?
Yes, I'd like to kind of go behind the horse, Ender's horse, and read the note out of sight.
Okay.
Ender is peeking with stealth.
I can tell you that it appears to be to you, it appears to be a list of words. Like the words are written in a list format, like a series of words and then another series of words over and over again, and like almost like a list format. But you unfortunately don't understand the language.
Oh, Lithana kind of looks over to Eli and waves at him.
He waves back, smiling.
Is he on his horse?
He is currently flying near you guys, either just above the group. You can hear the sounds of the clip-clop of many horses of the contingent of House Beneath Blades on either side of you, plus Connor near you. And you can just hear this sort of a staticky crackling noise. As you look over, you see this somewhat translucent, semi-opaque green crystal that's sort of jagged on the bottom, but it's like a smooth plane on top. And he's currently sort of crouched on top of that thing, flying it, willing it with his mind.
I walk over to him and say, "Hey, take a look."
Well, you guys are currently on the road.
Oh, okay. I say,
you're in the saddle. Ender is in the saddle with you.
Hey, Eli, come here.
I'll fly up next to the horse.
Okay.
Yes.
Take a look.
At what?
She kind of pulls the paper into his hand.
I'll take it. I look at it. It's a paper. With words.
Can you read it?
Eli, unfortunately, you see the same thing. You see what appears to be a series of words in a list format, and you can't discern it, unfortunately, just from a cursory glance looking at it. It seems like a familiar language. It appears familiar to you, but you don't know it, unfortunately. You can't comprehend it.
Just one moment, I kind of... And I cast Comprehend Language.
Okay.
I look at it again.
How long does that take?
One action.
Okay, so within the span of a moment, your eyes focus, and you can now see it. And I will put it in the chat. This is what you read. Appears to be somebody's shopping list.
Who dropped that?
You look very... It says you're in danger. Very in danger. Someone named Milk and Eggs? After you, Gunny?
You see her face go from very concerned to very pissed. Just really...
Looks like some shopping list that Gunny would want.
Oh, I know. Go over to him and show him and tell him the same.
Hey, Gunny! This list has your name on it. They're after you. Some guy named Milk, Bread, and Eggs. I know, right? It was a good joke.
Here, can you hold my sack for me?
I'm good. I'll fly back.
No. I got a sack here, man. This looks like some fancy stuff, man. You get that spell thing where you can see if something like.
What? I'm no doctor.
I'm good there. Oh no, I'm talking. Like the items. They're like.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. Which items do you want me to see?
Here, just hold on to my sack and you can cast it. You know what I'm saying?
I've seen enough of your sack. Can you at least pull the items out?
I am. I'm holding up.
He's holding his sack. Come on.
Pull the item out and give me the item.
Listen, leather sack. This sack looks fancy.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Nice thick leather.
All right. If you say it that way, I'll hold it. And I need. I think here. I'm looking at my spell book. Give me 1 second. Oh, I need 100 gold piece gem. Do you have 100 gold piece of gem?
Hold on. Let me check my sack. He reaches in his sack, jiggles some stuff around.
Actually, I need a few of them, if you wouldn't mind.
Nope. Only got a couple small balls in here.
Anyone have gems worth 100 gold?
No.
Well, we're out of luck until town. I need to actually
come prepared.
Hey.
Connor, Captain Connor Letherick, overhears you talking to Gonthrol, and he says, did you say that you needed some gems?
Yes. A pearl worth 100 gold. A few of them, if you have. I mean, I could pay you in. Actually, Gunny can pay you in gold.
And Connor now looks back at the men. He says, "What do you say, lads? Do any of you have anything that he's asking for?" And you just hear this cacophonous sound of men and women all just speaking. No, don't have any pearls. I got some jerky. We don't want any jerky. No, pretty good. And then, after a few moments, you finally hear one of the female soldiers call out. Says, she trots up towards you all and she pulls out an earring off of her left and her right ear, and she holds them towards you and says, "Will these do?"
Yes. Are they worth around 100 gold each?
Oh, I certainly hope so. My mother gave them to me before she passed. She said they were family heirlooms, but personally, I don't really wear jewelry that often. I was going into town to meet someone, but if you need it, if this is of dire importance, I'll let you have them. Will I get them back?
How about you keep them? We'll wait to town.
Oh, well, okay then. And she takes them back and looks at you, and she didn't really understand exactly what you were going to do with them. She didn't realize that you were about to destroy them, so.
Yeah. Yeah. You keep. I thank you for the offer.
Oh, it's quite all right. And she does a little salute to each of you and to Captain Connor. Captain, and she rides back, turns around on a dime, and then rides back into formation. Connor now says, "Those horses of yours, they seem a little bit rough for wear. If you want, we can try to patch them up best we can when we make camp for the evening."
Oh, when I cast my prayer of healing, I included the horses.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I did. They just weren't in the tracker.
Gotcha. No worries.
Oh, Gunny, you're a gun. Oh, she shouts loudly.
All I heard was, "Oh, Gunny."
She says, "Oh, Gunny, you are a god," and she shouts it over because she feels better.
I only heard, "Oh, Gunny," and she said she shouted. I'm like, yeah, everyone says that. Yeah.
Ender's also gonna say, "Oh, Gunny." Oh, Gunny.
Oh, Ender. Yeah.
So you're gonna hold off for now, Eli, on identifying his items for him.
I don't have any gem. I'll have to go to a store and buy a bunch of $100
Okay.
gold piece pearls. I mean, I really don't. I mean, unless one of our loots had them, but
You know, out of character, you can like pick up some dirt and detect magic.
You want to go panning for some jewels?
well, I mean, I was trying to identify, but I guess true.
Everybody roll for prospecting.
I think it's 100 gold. I don't know. All right, I'll cast detect magic.
Yeah, because you can't do it. I can do it tomorrow, and I just have to know that I got to memorize one of those.
So you're casting detect magic as? Can you cast that as a ritual, or are you just casting it?
I'm just casting it.
Okay. You're getting a strong sense of magic off of this bag that Gunny is holding up, as well as all around you. You are sensing magical effects wafting off of Captain Lethric, coming off of your friends from the items that they're carrying, and from a few of the folk that are nearest to you that are riding from the detachment of Blades, the house beneath Blades.
Well, there's a lot of magic.
Yeah, Gunny. I mean, most of what Gunthral had was inside of his bag of holding, so unfortunately, you would only detect what was on his bag of holding. You wouldn't detect what was inside of it.
Okay.
And he was only holding out the leather sack. You're only holding your sack, correct, Gunthral?
Well, I can try to, when we stop, I can spread it all out and let him hit everything. But
Sure.
We're on horseback.
Yeah.
Only got one hand free, so I can only hold my sack with one hand.
I totally understand. I'm gonna call this episode "Dick Jokes." All right.
It's a leather sack. I mean, come on, guys.
For the ending, you should read our Fantasy Grounds conversation. That's not on.
All right. So, did you all just want to? Did you want to do anything else in character at this moment, or did you want to pass the time on to resting for the night?
I think resting, unless anyone else has anything. I can't really do anything right now.
Okay.
I don't mind resting either, but I guess it depends on the leader of the pack here, Connor.
Well, Connor, he explains to you all that he plans on running his group hard, essentially covering as much time as he possibly can. He wants to get to Zilspar so that he can report back to his enclave.
I see. Are we riding with him the whole duration?
Correct. He is escorting you all after you were all attacked by all of these hobgoblins. He's escorting you all since you lost your horses. Well, 3 out of 5 horses. He doesn't want to take the chance that you'll be attacked on the road again. And he also wants to clear the path from here to Zilspar. He has explained that to you as well.
I'm down for resting if Connor and everyone else is.
Okay. So then, after the course of the day, Connor sits down just before nightfall, which is around 7:30. So a good amount of time goes by. just the sound of the heavy hoofbeats. You all getting to know the various men and women within Connor's detachment, and learning a little bit more about the Blades. And as the evening sets on, Connor's group, they all get out of their saddles. They all water and brush down their horses, feed them. They set up camp with several tents around that they break out. They give you all a couple of tents if you need some privacy. And I would say that would be count as. I would say you guys could count that as a short rest, and then we'll go into a long rest here in a moment.
Okay.
All right, sounds good. I'm gonna need a tent for the night. I don't have enough though. But...
Connor sits out. His men now set to cooking a meal. A few of them go off into the forest nearby, and they're able to bring back some meat for you all. And they set about to cooking something for you guys. They make some stew for you guys from a few rabbits that they find in the forest. And then they also have some other things like some hardtack, which is like sort of like a biscuit. It's like really, really hard, and it breaks like a cracker. And some salted meat as well as some potatoes and a few other vegetables that they brought along with them.
Lethana also tries to help gather the food and hunting.
Okay.
It's one of her proficiencies.
Well, in that case, I'll tell you what. Roll a survival check, Lethana.
Okay.
Can I give her advantage and help?
Sure, if you decided to go hunting with them, you can give her advantage on her survival roll. Okay.
In my clan, that's what I used to do.
Lethana, you were able to find a very large boar, as well as the rabbits that the men and women were able to find. You were able to set a trap and snare a boar and bring it back to camp. And the boar and the rabbits, you're able to prepare a fine feast for the group.
This is delicious.
And I assume that Gunny also laid out those items for Eli at some point in time.
Yes. I'm gonna cast Detect Magic as Gunny lays them out.
Okay.
So I go ahead and whip out my sack and everything in it.
Okay. So there is clearly this the leather sack, as before, is emanating some type of magic. And in addition to that, you find this short sword, which was lifted off of the body of the changeling that attempted to slay you, Eli. This one appears to be also magical in nature.
These are magical.
You throw them in the group loot thing?
The clothing that the woman... Yeah, I'll put those into the... I know that they haven't been identified yet, but I'll put those into the party loot.
I tried dragging home.
You can also do that as well.
I'm trying. It's not letting me somewhere.
Oh, that's weird. There we go.
There you go. Gotta grab the little dragon icon.
Do you also put the sending stone? I mean, that looks like just like a normal sending stone. That was the one that emanated the sound of the nasally voiced individual who appeared to know Eli.
Yeah. Put it all in there. I'll have to identify all that later.
And that barnacle covered chest is the chest that you guys... I'm just going to delete that. That's the chest you guys found all the way back in the the hilt in the river.
Is it still filled with 1,000 gold?
It is not.
Because I clicked it. It said it was.
Just keep opening it up as you keep taking it out. Man, it's a magical chest.
You wish.
I mean, there was a bug. Obviously, as I mean, that's your fault.
But yeah. So, all these are magical, but we gotta go to town before I can, I have the right components to tell you what they do.
How big of the city is the city we're headed to? Is it big enough to have this kind of shop?
Who are you asking?
I suppose I was asking Eli, like a fool, like he knew the answer.
Do I know anything about the city?
Yes, do you?
Make a history check.
All right. Ooh.
Hey, that's a natural one.
I feel dumber having asked the question. Good work, Eli.
Oh, what city? I never heard of that place. Man, scratching my head. I've read so much. I just don't know. You stumped me. It won't happen
So we
again.
can probably assume that it's not a very large place because you know everything historically.
Yeah, close. Yeah, I would say.
So
let's not matter.
you could also ask Captain Lethric. If you wish.
Eli knows everything.
Okay.
Pro RP move. I mean that too. I'm not being sarcastic.
What you've gleaned through the 8 hours, well, roughly 7 hours of travel on the road with the men, speaking to the various men and women in the detachment from Mouse Beneath and Captain Lethric, is that Zilspar is a village that's south. It's in southern Breland. It's right off of the Orient trade route, and it's about 284 miles east of Sharn. And at one point, Captain Lethric approaches you all. And as he looks at each of you, he says, "Well, you all seem to be in fine spirits, considering the atrocity on the road earlier today. If there's nothing else, my group are going to set a watch for the evening. You don't have to worry about keeping watch. If any of you wishes to participate, you are more than welcome to, but you're not required to. We will take care of that for you. Just focus on getting yourselves patched up and rested for the day ahead."
Oh, I appreciate that, Captain. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. You've been very kind.
Yes, thank you. By the way, do you know if there's any food left over at the tent?
Well, there should still be some near the fire if you want to go possibly prepare some for yourself for the journey ahead. Go right ahead.
You're welcome, Gunny, for the board.
Oh, did you kill this thing?
Uh-huh.
All right. Good job. Yeah.
As long as we're in the forest, I can find pretty good stuff.
Good. Bringing on the bacon. Good. I take what's left on the spick off and stick in my bag.
Very well. You now have a good haunch of the boar. I would say about 25% of it was consumed. So right now you essentially have like the left flank of this creature.
Oh, I'm gonna be eating good tonight. And does anyone want to bite?
I'm good.
I'll get my own. Thank you.
I'm already stuffed, thanks.
Sorry I didn't see any berries up there for you, Ori.
Oh, I'm great. Thank you, though.
Lithana goes and sits down by Ari, and she gives her 2 of her dice.
2 of her dice?
Yes, her.
Oh, from her bone
She
dice. I get you.
She has 2. She has 4 bone dice in her pack.
How do you play?
I don't really know. I kind of just make up games by myself when I'm by myself. But do you know any?
I don't, but I'm sure we can make one up. One for 2 of us.
Well, how about just whoever rolls the highest and first to 10?
Deal.
As they're playing, she kind of asks, "So, how are you doing after the horses? I know you hate to see any creature get hurt, and so many at the same."
It's true. It seems like it's been happening a lot lately, too. I suppose I'm doing all right. I worry more about how the balance is kind of...
It's kind of.
It's not like we're killing everything in the forest.
Yeah, so.
Now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
He was saying something about the balance. Well, it definitely is a balance, just like with hunting. If I kill too many, there's not enough to replenish, but that's the circle of life, I suppose. What do you think, Ari?
Ari looks like she's contemplating something, sort of staring off into the distance, into the night air.
She kind of puts a hand on her shoulder and says, I know it's hard. I'll let you think about it. And they just keep playing with the dice. And after that, Lithana just beds down and says goodnight. Well, who's making the first?
The soldiers.
Oh, okay. But I'll take the second. I only need like 4 hours. And
Gunny sits down by Ender. Seems I got a pretty good effective killing group.
Sorry, I had walked away for a moment.
Oh,
That's how he feels about you.
He ignores me now, but later on, he's going to be paying all the attention.
Don't do this. I was listening to everything up until that last bit, that last 2 minutes.
I come over and I sit down next to you. A little close. So I lean over and says, "Oh, looks like we got a pretty effective killing group here. Everyone seems to be pretty effective, except for that scrawny kid next to us."
He's good bait.
Yeah, he's rich though, so that's a bonus.
Yeah, and he's a good thinker. That's an important trait to have in the group.
Again, sometimes people think too much. Just gotta go do it.
I think that's why we're here.
Exactly. He rips off a hunk of meat, hands it over to you. Let's dig in and enjoy the evening and get some big.
Thank you, Gunthro. And I'm going to delicately start eating the meat as well. Not like an orc, but more like a refined orc.
One of the things that you've heard away from the captain is that he has mentioned that after he and his men and women, his detachment, escorts you to Zilspar, they're actually going to be heading to northern Brayland to investigate some rumors of some strange activity going on in a city called Xandrar.
Xandrar. What's going on in Xandrar?
He just tells you that there have been apparently some monsters of Droam which have been coming over from Droam and have been roaming the area. He tells you that apparently there was a delegation, an entire delegation that was traveling through that area that went missing.
What do you mean a delegation? Marked people?
He tells you that it appears to be some sort of a caravan.
Ambassadors?
They were escorting some sort of a priest of some sort, and they were passing through the area, and they went missing. So his detachment has been... Essentially, they've been recalled to northern Brayland to investigate.
Interesting.
And he's also said that there have been rumors in the area of more creatures from Droam that have been wandering, sort of pushing outside of the borders of that nation into Brayland. They've been observed attacking settlements in small numbers. They've been put down by local authorities and, of course, by the Blades. But for the most part, they've just been scattered here and there. He's also mentioned that there have been some strange sightings of elementals moving through the nations, not just in Brayland, but in other nations. People have been observing more elementals than usual moving around. It seemed to have begun, at least in rumor, this appeared to have begun about 4 months ago. Not too long after the events. Not too long after the events of what took place in Sharn. People have seen an uptick in water elementals along bodies of water. Air elementals have some ships. A ship actually went missing south in the Thunder Sea as it traveled between here and Arenal. It went missing, completely gone. No one knows what happened to it. There were rumors of an extremely unstable region of the area, one of the forests within Brayland, which is called the Bear's Wood. There were rumors that within the Bear's Wood that overnight an entire swath of the forest was leveled completely, and just gouges within the earth. The trees were flattened or completely destroyed in areas, and just this swath, like something moved through the area very quickly, like a storm or something went through and just leveled a section of the bear's wood.
And I think that's related to the elementals.
Connor and his men and the men and women of his unit, they can only speculate. But they said that it's the strangest. It's one of the strangest things that they've ever seen. That just it seems as though the elementals that have been observed out in the wild by folk have said that they just seem agitated.
So something's going on. Eli thinks about this and writes these things down. Whatever that creature that destroyed the bear's wood must be very powerful.
You also hear one of the men, actually, Ender, overhears talking about a new leadership which has sprung up in the capital of the Shadow Marches, Zarashak.
Well, I'm listening. Who's the new leader?
Doesn't know the name of the new leader, just knows that it's some sort of shogunate which has risen into power in Zarashak.
Huh.
That the Shadow Marches have essentially been closing off their borders to all other nations. And not allowing, except for certain dignitaries from dragon-marked houses, they haven't been allowing folk from outside of the Shadow Marches to come into the nation. Been being turned away at the borders.
Well, that's not good. That means that can't mean anything good.
But yeah,
Borders don't just block for good reason.
But yeah, other than that, those are the rumors that you hear from this collection of soldiers and from Connor himself. But you guys are welcome to ask more questions of them if you want. Connor himself has just sort of been hanging around your group a little bit, just making sure that you're all right, as he sent his soldiers off to either get bed rest or set up for the next watch.
Lithana jolts up from her sleep and says, "Okay, I'm missing something. What just happened?"
Well, there's rumors of monsters in Brayland and elementals that are being aggravated in the last 4 months, thinking it was related to Sean. That's pretty much what I heard.
Interesting. Was there anything else?
Just monsters on the outskirts in the northern Brayland. Dangerous monsters. It's time for me to sleep. I need my full 8 hours beauty sleep. Good night, everyone.
Lithana looks over the gun barrel and gives a quick sniff. Yeah, you need.
Even Ender is impressed. It's been the same amount of days for me, and I don't smell that bad.
But one request, Gunny.
Yes.
If you decide to be in the camp, please actually cover yourself this time. Not like that. That was maybe I should have been more specific about getting close to her.
Oh, well, you know, got as close as that she wanted to go, and, I wasn't. You told me to get close, so I, just went with the flow with it.
Are you feeling alright after whatever that was?
Yeah, that was quite entertaining. It made me exhilarated. Oh, feel a little stronger. Little. But, yeah. Yeah. I'd have to go out and probably try to find some, like, something to.
Well, good luck. I'm going to be.
Oh, yeah. I'll go out and wander around a little bit and see if I can't, you know. But don't worry. I'll curl up with you, Eli, sometime tonight.
I think Ender wants you tonight.
Not necessary.
You could cut it up to the boar. It probably won't.
Guess what? When I get back, I'll just make it a surprise. And Gunny starts to walk out of camp into the dusk. Look for something like a lake, a stream, or. Ask one of the guards or someone that's awake if they saw like water nearby or something.
You approach one of the guards on the outskirts of the camp, turns and looks at you and says, well, we've been, there's a stream not too far away in the edge of the forest if you want to go. We can accompany you if you like.
Oh, no, I'm good. No, it's a beautiful night out tonight. Doesn't look too dark out. Besides, if I need to, I got a light and I can shine it your way, Is there like some password or something I say when I come back, or, how do you work?
Oh, just give us a call, call out to us and just say, hey.
Hey, okay, sounds good. Alright, he'll go towards the water and.
I'm gonna follow. I'm gonna go and also. Do you want company?
Oh, sure. Yeah, okay.
All right, I'm also gonna go, but don't get any ideas. Well, is it a hot tub or is it isn't it just like a stream?
Well, they said it's a stream, but I'm sure it will fit both of us, and if you need something, clean that you can't reach,
Not necessary. Control. God.
Well, yeah. Because I might have a spot I can't reach. I might need you to rub that too, or scratch it.
This was a bad idea, and I'm just gonna follow.
Okay.
I start going off in that direction.
All right, Gunthrop.
I bring my weapon, just in case of danger around us.
Okay. As Gothrol and Ender, as you wander towards the edge of the forest into the thicket, towards where the stream, which the guards described to you, Gothrol, you think that you see something off in the distance, actually in the edge of the wood, near the stream, as you approach the stream.
Can it discern what it is?
Make a perception check.
25.
What you see is what appears to be a ethereal, glowing white horse of some sort with flowing golden hair, like spun gold. And its neck is angled down as it appears to be taking a drink of water. And then as it raises its head, you see a cascade of water that comes off of the tip of a long horn that emits from the top of its head.
I'll touch Ender in the correct place and say, hey, shh, don't move.
And there is this almost a shimmering sparkles of starlight that seem to emit off of its coat in the moonlight. And you watch as it begins to walk into the stream a bit, and you can see as from where you are currently, each time a hoof hits the water, there's almost an immediate shower of golden sparks that comes off of where the hoof touches the water.
I whispered to Ender, hey, do you see that?
Or do I see it?
I'll put him in there.
I will share something with you, Ender, and with you, Gunthral. This is what you see.
That's the same thing that Lathana posted in Discord. Not escort too.
Actually, this one's more accurate.
Beautiful.
Where am I missing? Oh, okay, there you go.
The creature continues now to walk through the stream, seemingly to head upstream, turning around, and it sort of flicks its golden, spun gold tail. In the moonlight, you just see showers of sparks coming off the ends of the hair as it turns around and begins heading north away from you all into the distance, into the wood.
Were I or we able to approach it while it was in the stream before it turned?
Well, it looks to be about 30 yards away from you. So you could clearly see what it was. As you approached, you were within about 30 yards. That's up to you, if you wanted to attempt to approach it. It's not running away. It's just sort of moving at a genuinely brisk pace. It appears to be just sort of moving.
I'm going to talk softly to it. Hey, you okay? Hey, we're not going to harm you.
Make a persuasion check.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, buddy. Look at there.
The creature suddenly wheels around at the sound of your voice and turns and looks at you, Gunthral, directly at you. And within, like, a moment, it just launches itself towards you, seeming like it's barreling down upon you and Ender from your position on the edge of the stream. And
I hold my hands out to. I hold my hands outside with nothing in them.
Okay.
Just saying, we're not here to harm you. We're just trying to share the stream.
Roll an animal handling check.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's better. Oh, look
What
at
the
that!
hell?
20s in a row.
Yeah,
Ooh,
waste
yeah.
those 20s. You do it. Okay.
That's crazy lucky. You're gonna end up riding this thing back to camp. Jeez.
So
This is a.
you hear sort of like it slows down as it gets within about 25 feet of you all and comes to a skidding halt. And you now hear like a sound in your head, both of you and Ender, this sort of a melodic noise that sounds like almost like singing. And the creature now slowly begins sort of trotting towards you. And as it gets closer to you, Gunthral, it suddenly sniffs snorts, and in a flash, just sort of like a shower of sparks come off of its body. And it's gone. Like you saw its eyes widen, almost like a look of fear as it stared at you. And it just fizzled out of existence in front of you. It's gone.
Man, I gotta need this bath bad. It's not every day you see something like that. I'm glad we were able to share this moment together. And
Yeah.
so, why don't we go take a bath where it was before, and just sit around and chat a little bit.
Okay.
So,
So,
stream where the animal was. Did it leave any trail or track?
Or maybe tufts of hair? Anything?
you can make an investigation check around that area where it was when you first saw it.
Can he have a advantage? Oh, he already rolled.
You can have advantage on your roll. You can roll again if you like, if you assist him, Ender.
Okay.
What happened to the other 20, man?
Right? Used up all your 20s, yo. You find a few strands of golden hair hanging off of a bush that's close to the water's edge.
How long is it?
It's pretty long. It's about 2.5 feet long, each strand. And it's...
How many strands?
There are 3 strands, and it's very... It's you pulling on it in your hands now, testing the tensile strength.
Say...
And it appears almost like steel. It's really strong. And
I'm
yes.
going to hand the three strands to Gunthrow.
Yes, that was a reference to Lord of the Rings.
Oh, a gift. Oh, thank you, Ender. And I'll hand 2 back to him. One is
Okay.
fine.
Maybe a strand for each lady in our group.
Who's the third lady?
I wink at Gunny.
Okay.
Ooh.
No, I don't actually.
Now,
wink
Gunny,
at Gunny.
At
You already
this-
did it now.
He gave me 2 strands, so I get Gunny handed me back 2, and I said 1 for each.
You're not getting out of it now.
This is a walking gay joke, by the way. We went down to a stream and we found a unicorn together.
I know. I almost felt like holding hands when we were there. Huh?
Yeah,
I
we're gonna
should-
come back with My Little Pony t-shirt.
Exactly. We'll come back wearing the pink My Little Pony holding hands together as we walk back in the camp saying, "Hey guys."
No, I take it
We
back.
found these golden strands.
I take it back. This episode is going to be called Friendship is Magic.
Oh, I got a great idea. We could like put our arms together and wrap the little golden thing around it. Just say we're just together and be so happy.
So at this point, is Gunthro nude? Is he stripping down to take his bath, or what is he doing?
You better believe he is. Damn.
Okay.
He's gonna wash his gear. He's gonna wash the pot. He's gonna wash anything Ender needs him to wash.
No.
Ender,
Ender has
how much
got
of
his own cleaning down. He's good at that.
Ender, how much do you sneak a peek at Gunthro at all? How much of his washing routine do you actually watch?
Nothing actually.
You don't watch anything?
He definitely does not pay attention. No.
Okay.
I watch everything.
I will whisper to you something you saw, Ender.
Oh my god. I swear to God, if you say he has this huge dinger.
It's just huge.
Anna, you are naughty.
Well, I'm holding my sack out of the water so it doesn't get wet.
God, is
so
that,
naughty tonight.
is that large, Jeremy? Jesus, he's still typing about it.
Giggity. There we go.
Grab some bark off the trees, to help, scrub my skin and get all the dead flesh off.
Oh. I see, you weren't making that sexual at all. Oh, hey, let's real quick while we have this moment. Ani, test your mic.
You only caught a glimpse there, Ender.
Can you guys hear Anna?
No.
Can anyone?
I
No,
can
I can't.
see her speaking in Discord. You might want to try closing Discord out all completely and reloading it.
Yeah, she's been talking and no one's been hearing her.
Oh no.
Oh no.
She's got a little bit of mic issues. Has anyone heard anything she said so far tonight?
Only at the beginning. And then she cut out.
So it was working at the beginning. Okay, good.
And I've been reading
After-
what she's been writing in the chat.
Offer to scrub his back down with this, the bark. This will get all that, thick crud off your back.
How about now?
Oh, there you go.
Yay!
I heard you.
Meanwhile, back at the camp. What are the rest of you all doing? I believe I heard Lathana say she was going to bed down for the evening.
Yeah, Eli is completely out.
Okay, so Eli and Lathana, you're both out cold. Auri, from your vantage point within the campsite, you observed what Gunthrol observed when he walked towards the thicket, towards the edge of the forest. And you, continuing to glance in that direction, you saw a brilliant flash of light, almost like a column of moonlight that erupted into the sky momentarily. In the direction
Up
of...
into the air.
Correct. In the direction of where they went off to, you saw a brilliant flash of light that seemed to go directly up into the sky from where they were located. And then I assume...
All right, so when I walk back to camp, do I see Ari watching?
That's up to Ari. If Ari continued to watch for you guys to return, or if she retired for the evening.
Are you
I'm still going to be sitting at the campfire. I'm kind of just like sitting there meditating because I'm going to sleep there too. I don't want to go to a tent. I want to be outside.
I'm going to hand you one of the strands of tuft hair. Here you go, young one. We saw a white and yellow horse with a horn on it.
Really? And where's this horse now?
Shot up into the sky. Beautiful night. And I'm going to hand you the strand. And time for me to retire for the night.
Thank you, Ender.
And eventually, for all of you, you all find sleep. And I will mark you all as taking a long rest.
All right, I'm going to use my longsword on sleep. I'm going to attack with my +2 katana.
Shut up.
I hit it.
And apparently you hit Gunthrol. And you did 11 damage to Gunthrol.
Stop hurting.
Why am I hurting Gunthrol? I'm so sorry, Gunny. I meant the night and the
Hold on.
sleep.
Some point
Cast a
in
spell.
and some point in the
Oh my
night,
god! Oh my god! What
and
happened?
at some point in the night, Ender was sleepwalking with his sword,
What have I done?
and he recalls the battle with the hobgoblins, and he finds himself slashing into the snarling face of one of these hobgoblins as it hovers over him from the back of one of these wargs. And you see Ender as the snarling face, as your blade slices through, you can hear the sound of an impact of your blade and flesh. The sound of a tarpaulin tearing and ripping. And suddenly you see the prone form of Gunthral looking up at you, quite shocked as you have slashed into his exposed bicep.
Yo, if you don't want me curled up with you, you didn't have to hit me with the damn sword.
And as Gunthral momentarily calls out, several of the blades are now rushing over towards you with their weapons drawn. Like, what's going on?
Do I wake up?
You are now standing over your friend who is prone at the moment. Seems to be coming to his as you come to your senses. Your armor is cast off. You're just holding your Biesk metal katana, and as if you have just made a powerful stroke with it.
I'm going to drop my weapon down from a non, fighting style, and I'm going to crouch down to see if he's okay and apologize profusely. I was sleeping.
I look at him shocked. What happened? Are you okay? Or did I surprise you by sleeping near you?
I think I'm okay. Are you okay?
Oh, of course I am.
Captain Lethric now has joined the scene and says, "What's going on over here? What happened to the tent? What the blazes?"
It was the wind.
The wind?
Yeah, the strong wind came through, knocked the tent open, and everything's good, Captain. Oh, what? Hey.
Roll a deception check.
You're up late.
Late? It's 6 o'clock in the morning, sir.
Yeah, that'd be a 1.
That would be that would be a 1.
That is a 1. Well, now it just looks like we were having cuddling time. Thanks.
Ender, you notice that Gunthral is dirtier than he was when he walked away from the stream last night. He has mud all the way up his feet, all the way up his calves, and he's covered in scratches as if he's been moving through the woods, nude.
Gunthral, you're filthy. I know I just stabbed you, but you're filthy. It looks like you've been running through the woods.
I think it was the same wind that tore open the tent.
I can't keep a straight face. Yes, it must have been the wind. And I'm also going to roll deception now.
One of the men now walks up and touches Captain Lethric's forearm and pulls him aside as far away as he possibly can, so that you can't obviously, so you can't hear it. And he whispers something into his ear, and then
I'm trying to listen in.
You can make a perception check with disadvantage. Actually, no. That would be a that would be a regular perception check for you.
Can I cone my ears, my hands over his ears to help him listen and give him advantage?
Not needed. I will whisper to you what you hear, Gunthral.
I know that was an accident, like an accidental rolling of the die, me making a joke. However, I wonder why Ender walked across the camp and stabbed Gunny. Now, I'm all about taking responsibility for my own mistakes, but the real question here is, did Gunthral do something to deserve this to Ender? I mean, obviously, does Gunny owe him money?
Well, how do you know I was across the camp and I didn't just cuddle up next to you? Because I didn't roll it nice to see who I was going to cuddle next to.
That's true.
It is true,
I'm
yeah.
going to roll a 1d4 here.
I wonder if...
4, so that would be Ender. I cuddled up next to you last night. Or tried to.
Well, maybe I have night terrors. That makes sense. That's a normal thing. I hope you learned a valuable lesson, Gunny.
Cap.
Yeah. Just because you took a bath with someone doesn't mean that they're going to like it in the morning.
Exactly.
Captain Lethric now, he says, well, we're going to break camp and set out, if you're all agreeable. The soldiers have said that they can go ahead and double up on theirs and offer you some horses if all 5 of you wish to have your own separate charges. We're going to double time as fast as we can today and tomorrow. We should arrive in Zilspar sometime tomorrow.
Are you going to be able to provide horses to the walkers, or because double timing it with 2 people riding?
Well, a few of us are going to stay behind. Since you're missing 3 horses, we'll give you 3 of ours, and my men are going to keep watch on the road to make sure no one follows behind. They're actually waiting for another detachment that set out from First Tower the other day.
Oh, okay.
Well, if that is agreeable to you, you can all have your own horse in addition to your own.
Oh, hey. Oh, I don't know.
Thank you.
You want your own horse, or you want to ride up here with me?
Yeah, I'll take my own horse. What happened to you? Didn't you take a bath last night?
Yeah, Eli, as you look, Gonthro is from almost his knees down to his feet are coated in mud. Bits of stick and bramble stuck to them. He looks like he just had himself a lovely walk through the woods.
And I'm only wearing my loincloth.
And he's only wearing his loincloth, apparently.
Oh,
Yeah, the
Gunny.
armor was getting itchy.
Gunny.
It's hanging drying.
When the ladies said get a bath, they meant get a bath, not rub yourself in mud.
Well, there was a lot of bugs out last night. If you roll around in the mud, it creates a layer that the insects can't penetrate, and so those little pesky little mosquitoes and shit didn't bite.
Ender, you were with him. You let him do this?
Yeah.
Well, he left me halfway through the bath like I did something wrong to him. And look at him. He cuts me in the morning.
I could have sworn you both came back clean.
Well, I can always walk out there and dip myself in again.
No need.
I cannot explain what I did to you last night. I'm sorry, Gunthro.
Oh, never mind. You go and wash yourself off in the river.
That's right, Ender. I'll forgive you.
I ain't touching that.
I'll go over and I'll give Ender a hug.
Ender,
No, don't! You're gonna get him 32.
Gunthro takes you, if you're willing, into an embrace. Skin on skin, pecs to pecs, as he grabs you into a big, mighty hug.
I'd like this to be a commission, please. And I just would like to know, I feel guilty, of course, right? And the hug is making me feel better. However, I definitely don't show it. I look very unhappy right now.
Gunthro holds on maybe a little longer than is comfortable.
Lifts him off the ground a little bit, hugs him.
Just looking around the camp, you can see as the soldiers are breaking camp, every once in a while, you just watch them freeze in place, staring in your direction, trying to ascertain exactly what they're seeing, and then they continue on with their business.
I'm gonna say, Control, you would not last long in the Shadow March.
Oh, why is that?
This behavior. But you are a good friend, thank you.
They don't like hugs in the shadow marches?
While unclothed, not with strangers, no. Or friends, no. Only people who are more than friends.
By the way, Ori, what race are you?
I'm an elf.
Okay, because I kept thinking you're like a gnome, because your voice is very...
No.
Okay. So I always imagine you being like 3 foot tall or something. Oh. You like hugs too? I'll go over and give Ori a hug too.
I do like hugs.
Oh, this reminds me. I give the one last strand, the golden strand of the unicorn hair, to Lathana. This is from a white and golden horse we saw at the stream last night. It left it behind. It had a horn on its...
Oh.
It shot into the sky afterwards. I feel like it was a very rare sighting.
I'm going to tie these string around one of my fingers.
I've heard of such things that just in legend in the forest. Thank you. But she kind of bows. But I do not give hugs.
Oh, when I was getting done with Ori, I was going to come over and give you a hug too.
I do fist bumps.
So I give Ori a weird long hug, just like I did Ender. Then I come over and smile at Lathana.
She pulls out her dagger.
I think it's worth it. Come here, give me a hug.
And she pulls out her, what does she have? Her scimitar.
See, I know that you're not good with a dagger, so yeah, I'm not worried. She's just pretending to be, defensive.
No, I'm good.
Oh, here I'm coming. I'm getting closer. Here I'm coming.
No. I'm really good, and she's actually pointing her scimitar.
Nope. I get there before she gets it up. Grab her. Ah!
But you definitely get poked by a dagger.
Go ahead and roll your attack.
She wasn't kidding.
That's a hit.
Oh
wait,
Ari.
you just so as
You wake up from sleepwalking now.
You throw it at me and hit Ari.
so as Gonthrol was pulling Lathana in for a hug, he didn't let go of Auri, and he accidentally pulls her into the path of your dagger as you stab her. Go ahead and roll damage. No, apparently.
Oh, Max. Oh.
I'm going to put that on Auri. Suddenly, you are looking down in horror, Lathana, as your blade has sunk through Auri's outfit into her midsection. And she's looking at you with a look of shock in her eyes.
I'm hugging both of you now and lifting you off the ground.
And poor Auri has this dagger is stuck in her, and Lathana's trying to pull it away, but Gunny is pulling you towards her. Like Auri is essentially in a sandwich right now, in between you, and Auri, you are continuing to be trying to get this thing out of you now.
Can someone please get it out? Someone please get it out.
I'm self-conscious now. I let him go.
Okay. Lathana, you're still holding your blade, or do you let go of it?
Lathana,
you monster! You've been quiet way too long with the dagger sticking out.
Auri scrambles away from Lithana, now looking at this pool of blood, which is now beginning to stain the front of her outfit from this wound.
And it was all just a dream this whole time. And we all woke up, right? I didn't stab Gunny, and Lithana didn't stab Ari.
What is going on with everybody this morning? Are you guys feeling okay? I take a bath, come out dirty, and you guys are stabbing each other.
Lithana's being awful quiet.
Oh, can you hear? Hello?
Yeah, we can
Oh,
hear you.
now we can hear you.
So, how do you feel after stabbing Auri accidentally?
Hello?
Hello.
You murderer.
Hello?
You murderer. You killed Ari.
Hello?
Says the guy that slashed Gunthrow in his sleep.
I have night terrors, okay?
Hello?
Hello.
Can you hear us or not?
Yeah, I can hear you. I don't know if you can hear me.
Well, I can hear you now, yes.
I think
okay,
we can
sorry.
hear you now.
I've been talking, but
That's okay. You can... I assume that you were in shock after stabbing Auri in the stomach.
yes, and then she immediately goes over and tries to take out the dagger, and she does it as cleanly as she can. I mean, she does hunt, so she does it as best she can, and quickly gets out some cloth and wraps it around. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It was meant for him. And she just looks at Gunny with evil eyes.
What do you want to stab me for? And then you stab her.
I don't like hugs. What has gotten into you?
He's just an affectionate fella. Accidents happen.
This is not a good start to a morning.
Captain Lethric walks up and says, I agree. If you were all quite done, we would like to get onto the road.
Oh, okay.
And you see now that the camp has been broken down around you as you've all been, this whole episode has been going on between you all. They've broken down your tents. All of your gear has been neatly piled and assembled and stacked near your horses. And now 3 other horses which have been left. There is a campfire still there, and they left one tent with what appears to be cask of provisions. And 3 soldiers are now assembled there. They've essentially assembled a watch there.
I'm going to go to Ori and then make sure that her wound is okay.
Yeah, the front of her outfit is completely crimson red now from the blood.
I'll cast Min to repair the clothing and such.
Okay.
Once I can check to make sure the wound, if she allows me to touch her.
Yes. Yeah.
Have to worry about Lithana, not me. Yeah.
Well, Lithana, looks like we're in the party pooper club.
Lithana's got to be like evil eyeing me because she still got me targeted.
I've noticed
Me?
that.
Yeah, you still got me
Oh.
targeted. You must be like evil eyeing me or something. I'm like, man, she's like, intently staring.
Suddenly she drops Hunter's Mark on you.
Eli's gonna slowly walk up to Ari and say, may I?
May you what? Stab me? Because I've had enough of that.
I was gonna just clean your clothes, make them.
Yeah, that'd be lovely. Thank you.
He touches her shoulder and casts prestidigitation. The blood goes away. And
There's a
everything's
bit of a,
clean.
almost like a hazy shimmering effect as the red stain now lifts off and flakes and is carried away in the wind. And your outfit is completely mended and clean as new.
Thanks, guys. This is my favorite dress.
And since Eli's next to me, I give him a big hug too.
Can I cast
Oh, you're such a nice
invisibility?
guy.
I'm gonna back up from them as far as possible
God.
as this hug is happening.
Wait, Eli, you actually cast invisibility?
Yep.
Okay,
You
there is
go.
an
didn't
audible
pick 'em.
popping noise, and Eli is gone. Make a I'll tell you what. Make an acrobatics check with disadvantage, Guthril.
Athletics.
No, make an acrobatics, or I'll tell you what. Yeah, make an athletics check with a disadvantage as you attempt to reach out and grab him, or where you thought was him. And Eli, you can make an acrobatics check with advantage since you are invisible. Nice. So there's a bit of a sound of like shuffling feet, shifting feet, and you reach out and your hands come together and to nothing.
Oh, I'll get that little man later. I'll go to my horse and put on my gear.
Okay.
I'm pouting.
So after some time has passed, the sun is now getting up into the sky. Captain Lethric and his men and women of his detachment of House Beneath Blades now are ready, and they are ready to set out onto the road. If you are all ready, you can all assemble with them and set out east onto the Orient trade route with them.
Yeah, next thing you know, you see Eli right next to the captain riding his horse, like giving Gunny the evil eye.
Okay.
And I'm riding my horse just in my thong.
Okay. I'm getting shades of like a certain character from another campaign here. I think a certain other player in our little D&D club would approve. So the day passes on with very little, if any, issues. It's kind of dull. You all ride the horses hard and cover a lot of make up for a lot of time and cover a lot of road. You have another night, set up a watch. You all gather together. You can take a long rest, which I will go ahead and mark for you guys again. And the next day goes on, not that much different from the previous one. Yet another day of riding the horses as hard as you possibly can. And off in the distance, towards the end of the day, getting into the evening, not too late. It's approximately, it's a few hours away. You're fairly certain with the where the sun is currently on the horizon. It's a few hours away from dusk now. And you were riding up on now, you saw it as you were approaching this expanse of buildings with a keep and the center of this large city in the distance. And you can just now, you're seeing the signs of life coming from this city. You see folk on the road, travelers, farmers moving about. You see the rolling grasslands now have given way to farm communities. You saw a few farms as you were heading into this area. You are now approaching Zilspar.
This city looks large enough for you to have known about it at least, Eli.
Oh, it is small and small. And, like, compared to Sharn.
Just a blip. Right.
Because...
Built in a day last week.
Yeah, I mean, I would never be incorrect. I don't even comprehend.
As you approach the town proper, Captain Lethric, he bids you all farewell. He tells you that you can return the horses to the House Fidelis enclave there on the outskirts of the city, and they'll take them into their charge. Just tell them that they're from House Beneath. He also recommends that you have your horses, since you took them on a very hard ride, that you leave them at the at House Vidalis, and that House Deneath will settle up in any expenses incurred for your horse for the night. And he assumed that you didn't want to continue on, that you would possibly bed for the evening. But he bids you all farewell, and he says it was lovely to meet all of you. Good luck in your travels. And as he's saying that now, you're hearing sort of a strange buzzing noise. It's like a whirring, buzzing noise off in the distance, somewhere from within the city. It's like sort of like it sounds to you like a similar sound to that of what you have observed, any of you, being close to the House Orion elemental carriage, the train carriages, the long lightning rail that you've observed heading in and out of Sharn and around Braylon and around the other territories and nations. It sounds like a little bit of like a sort of an electrical buzzing, and it seems to be emanating. The sound seems to travel, just looking around, it seems to travel from off in the distance, from one place to another, as if it's something is moving very fast. And as you're continuing to watch, the captain, he just sort of looks off in the distance of the sound, and both Gunthral, Auri, and Lithana, you see some sort of a strange four-wheeled contraption that zips around a corner on one of the buildings off in the distance, and you just watch as it zips around, makes a very, very sharp turn, and then zips off into the distance. You've never seen something like this before. It resembles a horse-drawn carriage, but there's no horses attached to it. It's very similar in construction.
Similar to the taxis, or?
Not similar to the sky coaches. This is more similar to an actual carriage. Like, it's got the four wheels, sort of a boxy shape to it with, doors on either side, that sort of thing. But this one seems sleeker. In fact, this one has like, you can see that there were individuals like seated within, and some of them seem to be gripping the edges, the sides of it. It's like an open canopy, and there's a little bit of a covering over the top of them, as if to shield from like the elements or from the sun. And this horseless carriage is just zipping around corners, and people, you can hear that now, just sort of like going, "Oh, ah!" off in the distance from this carriage as it zips around the corner.
Did you see that wagon thing? Were they excited or were they scared? They seemed to be screaming.
And as you continue to observe from your vantage point on your horses, you can hear now that sound. It seems to stop. And it appears to be that sound, that weird electrical buzzing noise, seems to cut out somewhere off in the distance. Somewhere to the northeast of where you are currently.
Do we have a contact we're supposed to meet here to try to find this guy? The Fate Weaver guy?
All you know is that Zilspar is the first settlement between Sharn and the Braylon-Zalargo border. It's the Orion Trade Road. What you knew from your contact within the Dark Lanterns is that your Elric was heading towards Trollenport, so that you have assumed that he would have had to have passed through this city.
Hey, Ari,
Yes.
do you still have the notes on the description of Elric?
Oh boy. This has been an interesting session so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got player versus player. Accidentally stabbing each other.
That was unfair, Jeremy. You made that part of the story, and that was an accident.
I know,
Yeah.
same with mine.
But it was hilarious.
Now you've given my character night terrors that I'm gonna have to play out for the rest of the campaign. Well, that's not for me to deal with. It's for you guys to deal with.
I just assumed that you were reacting, maybe you could tie it into hearing about the shadow marches.
Well, if you need
Yeah,
to,
we
I
should
can
really
tie
talk
you up.
about that some more.
Well, if we need to, I can tie you up at night and just, snuggle with you all night. So you don't do anything to anybody.
Perfect solution.
Not necessary, Gunny. I'm willing to risk your life.
100% necessary.
I would love to see some more artwork of that. just a series of art.
The big question is, what happened? What happened, Gunny? Why did I stab you? What's the story? You want to elaborate?
Are you asking him or what?
No, I was asking you, Gunny.
I got no
What did you
idea
do to
what
me?
you're doing. I think you just had dreams about me all night, and you just didn't want to realize that you really like me. It's that love-hate thing, like you're going to be angry at me at first until you realize that it's meant to be. Did your mic stop working, or you just contemplate?
He's just speechless.
I'm angry. I'm just the most mad person.
Welcome back to D&D.
I waited a
called
month and a
riding
half
in
to
the
be
wind.
sexually harassed by Mark. Don't get me wrong, I like the attention. I do feel pretty. But, I mean, come on.
But hey, you gave me the golden strands from the unicorn. Come on. I'm like, we took a bath together. I scratched your back, you scratched mine a little bit. We snuggled.
No,
You
it
got
was
frustrated in the middle of the night. You realized that this is your true destiny. It's not. That
yeah.
closet door is slowly opening.
And it's all because of you, Gunny. You're opening it. You're opening it.
What better person than a Goliath to bring you over to the other side?
Ender gets a mental image, a very fuzzy one, of being licked by something in the middle of the night.
Really, Jeremy?
I will whisper to you, Ender, what you think it is.
Not necessary. Honey.
Oh my god.
I do want to say Eli wanted to talk to Ari alone. Hello, Ari.
You can keep that to yourself if you want, Ender.
So I overheard you say that Gunny and Endor came back clean from their bath.
I for sure know that Ender was clean, and I think that Gunny was clean too.
A mystery. I like mysteries. I'll remember that. That's all I wanted to. Thank you. Eli kind of awkwardly walks away.
But wait, Eli, I want to go check out the wagon. Can we
Oh.
check out the wagon, please?
Oh, okay. We can go check out the wagon.
Oh, can I join you?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, let them to enjoy themselves as, the adults of the group can check out the wagon.
Okay, so who's going to check out the wagon?
Ari.
Ari's going to check out the
Eli.
wagon. Eli,
And Nathana.
Lithana, okay. So you're all taking your horses over towards the direction of where that sound stopped.
Yes.
Okay, and Ender and Gunthril are staying back to work on whatever they're working on.
Oh, they're leaving us for a little bit of alone time.
I see. Okay then. Well, after a while, you pass through this long cobblestone street. You see the sights and the sounds of people around you, of various individuals just milling about doing their daily activities. And off in the distance, you can see a crowd has formed at one of the squares within the town. And you can see now that there is that carriage which is idling. It's a little bit taller than the crowd. And you can see what appears to be an individual standing on some sort of a box. And is currently like speaking to the crowd. And you can just as you're getting closer, you can just hear very faintly, you can hear this woman saying, "Thank you all again for coming for the Castellanta Corporation's demo of the Totorum 1000. We appreciate your interest in it. The vehicles are just a prototype at this stage, so they won't be available to the public going forward for a little while longer. We'll all keep you up to date, but the corporation wanted to get out there and rub shoulders with you all, lovely people, and let you get a feel for what to expect." And you can see now that various individuals, the crowds are very thick around this area. The town square is absolutely filled, and as you ride up, you can see now that your horses can't possibly move past them and to get closer to the vehicle. You would have to dismount to get through the crowd. And you can see now the woman is just sort of she's stopped her speech now, and she's continuing to bend down slightly and speak to individuals who are approaching her next to this strange vehicle. You can just barely make out the top of the vehicle from your vantage point.
I'll dismount and just have my horse off.
Okay.
Guys, let's get closer. Let's see. I really want to look closer.
Just one thing. And she quickly looks around to see if anyone is listening. I did notice something. When Gunther tried to hug me, his teeth were pointier than I remember.
What?
Yeah. Which, I didn't like hugs, but when I saw that's when I grabbed out my scimitar.
What do you think that means? His teeth were pointy.
I'm not sure.
Maybe they've always been pointy? I don't really look at his mouth very often.
Believe me, I don't either, but I hadn't noticed it before. I've heard of such things, but Ida, you might know.
Well, I'll get back to you. I might have to do some research in the library. But if I recall, have I heard about anything like that, Jeremy? In my studies? A Goliath with pointy teeth?
This is Adam jumping in to cover for Jeremy. He's busy right now. Yeah, you know everything about that subject. Continue and explain it to all of us, please.
Oh, did Jeremy Jeremy, step away.
Yeah, he's
No,
busy right now. But
I'm
you go ahead and
I'm sitting here listening to y'all. Just taking it
go ahead
all
and just
in.
go into details.
Please explain exactly what it is. Oh, mighty Eli. Make a let's see. I'll tell you what. Make an Arcana check, Eli.
Okay.
Yeah, roll more than 2, and then you're set.
Okay.
29.
Oh shit!
Okay.
He's a smart man.
Yeah, you're not sure what this is.
What with the 29? He doesn't know.
I mean, it depends. In his studies, this doesn't appear to be something that, as far as like his particular,
Yeah.
based on the things that he has read over time, he doesn't really seem to think
And
that
I've
it
read
has.
a lot of books.
He doesn't seem to think that it's anything related to magic or related to his field.
Yeah. I don't think it's magic or anything. I mean, I heard of different spells that can change you into animals and
Like, yeah,
change the way you look. But I mean, I didn't see anything casted. I would have seen it myself. I sat right there. I mean, we heard everything. I would have heard about the incantations, and I could dispel it.
We know you can change into animals. I do it all the time.
Maybe he's becoming a.
Oh no.
Maybe he hit
Do you
puberty.
remember-
I don't know much about the Goliath.
Do you know much about
Latana.
puberty? Yes.
You remember the time where he tied you up and said something about how you were going to turn into some horrible animal? Probably unrelated.
Oh, yeah.
As you're traveling through the crowd now, you've reached the end of the crowd, which is several yards away from now. You see 2 of these carriages, these horseless carriages. One is the one that you observed before, which has sort of a sleek design. It's got an open canopy with the canopy itself is overhang, which seems to shield individuals from the elements from the sun and whatnot. And it has a clear front section, what you would assume is the front of this vehicle, and another clear one on the back. And the left and right side of the vehicle appears to be open to the air. And you can see the wheels are they're thick in areas and thin in others, and they're both of a similar size and shape. The front are a little bit smaller, but just a hair from the back ones. The other vehicle, which is next to it, these wheels are a bit thicker, and the canopy is completely closed off. You can see now this one appears to be a bit more armored. And you can now see a woman with sort of purple colored hair. It's like a violet, vibrant colored hair. And she's wearing leather armor with like a flowing shirt that sort of billows out at the elbows and around the biceps. You can see now it's very flowy around in the arms, and it tapers off. And she has a tricorn hat, which is sort of pointed rakishly to the side with a long feather. It appears to be that of a peacock feather. And as you approach them, she sort of flashes you all a smile. And she says, "Welcome, welcome. Have you come to take a ride in the Tatorums?"
Yes. Yes. I think the 3 of us would love to.
Well,
I was
please.
just going to leave Sunny behind and Ender?
Oh, they're fine. They're doing their thing.
By all
They're
means,
probably hugging again.
please step forth. My name is Mackenzie Oren, and what would your names be?
I'm Eli.
Eli, lovely to meet you. Please step forward. And as she gestures towards the vehicle, you notice that where there was a solid section suddenly parts. Like you didn't see a seam. It just suddenly parts, almost like liquid. This metallic material. It seems like metal and it seems like liquid in a moment. It opens, and you can see now a series of steps which are floating, begin to appear in front of the side of this vehicle. Don't be shy. Step right up, hun.
I'll step in. Oh, how many seats is there in here?
It's fairly roomy. There is a row on either side of both what you would assume is the rear of the vehicle and the front of the vehicle. Looks like it could fit at least 6 medium-sized individuals in here. And there's a podium which is directly centered in the middle section with what looks like an atlas slate, which is embedded within it.
Oh, Eli's in heaven.
I can't wait to
every little thing.
I can't wait to record the little side thing with Mark and Adam for their bathhouse experience.
Eli's looking over every little aspect, memorizing it.
Okay. Yeah, the metal is sort of a almost a pearlescent blue, almost like a grayish blue pearlescent. It's very sleek. When you run your hands over it, it just feels sleek, like silk or glass, almost like a glassy texture, like almost feels like the surface of dragon glass, of obsidian. And Mackenzie now looks to the rest of you, and looks to you, Auri, and looks to you, Lathana, and says, "Please, if you wish to ride, please step aboard."
Was this invention created by Castor or Nash?
And the woman just sort of looks at you quizzically with her head tilted to the side, and, a Castor, you say?
Yes.
Or Nash. I have heard of one of those names as someone possibly in the organization. The Castellante Corporation partnered with the Zilargo, and also partnered with House Orient to craft this new type of carriage, this horseless carriage, the elemental carriages we're calling them. This particular model is the Tortorum 1000, the Tortorum 1050, and she gestures over now to the one that's a little bit bigger, a little bit more, that has the enclosed canopy. That one I'm not demoing right now. We were having some issues with it earlier, but this one works perfectly just fine. But yes, the Castellante Corporation have produced it, these units, and we have been just sort of traveling around towns and showing it off to the folk. Again, I'm not too familiar with that name. It sounds familiar, but I'm not entirely sure who you're referring to.
I see. Thank you. Then she steps in. I'm ready to...
And
Thank you, Mackenzie. I've never seen this shade of blue before, and I'm going to follow in behind.
oh, thank you. It's quite nice. I actually like it. I didn't have any hand in choosing the color of the vehicle, obviously, but I have heard that has something to do with the way that they created the paint. Has something to do with crushing pearls and mixing it in with the pigments. It's very fancy. I have nothing to do with it, of course. I'm a businesswoman, an orator, if you will. It's my trade. Well, if you're all ready, if it just there is directly in front of you on the podium, you'll notice a flashing icon over the overland map of the city. If you'll just press that little glowing indicator at the center of the atlas slate, it'll whisk you away for a little trip around the city.
Eli quickly pushes it. Ooh.
Okay. The moment you do, the little side of the carriage suddenly closes off, and the sound of the elemental engine whirs up into life, and the vehicle lurches forward faster than you have ever experienced on an overland vehicle, and you just feel yourselves exhilarated as this thing vrooms through the streets, veering around corners, almost dangerously so, nearly tipping over. And as you're noticing, Nothing appears to be driving this thing. There's no driver. There's no horses, but there is nothing appearing to direct this thing at all. And you're noticing that there's a little sort of a golden filigree line that is drawn in a path around the different boroughs and neighborhoods of the city of Zilspar. And there is a little, much larger, small indicator, a round indicator that appears to be moving along this line as you're veering around corners and zooming down streets. You just see various individuals as you're passing by them calling out, yelling out, "Woohoo!" And just little kids are trying to keep up with you as you zoom past them, but they can't possibly keep up with you now. You see a few individuals who are on horseback who are attempting to keep pace with you, but you just rocket past them. And what should have taken several minutes, the vehicle is able to navigate through the streets all the way around, following this line, and then back to the square. Your hair has been blown back from the wind. You're feeling your chest heaving as you're catching your breath. Vehicle comes to not an abrupt stop, but a rolling stop. And Mackenzie is now with her hands on her hips, beaming at all of you. Her lip color is sort of a turquoise, and she just sort of winks at all of you as she gestures to help you step down from the vehicle. Well, I hope you enjoyed the demo.
Yes, I did. How much are these going for?
Oh, well, they're still working on the final price, but I believe that we'll be selling them for 9,500 gold galifars, if I'm not mistaken. This will be, of course, the basic model, and we'll be offering other models, of course. The 1050 version, that one's a bit more expensive. That one will be about 15,000 gold galifars. And she starts to, as if she's going to say something else, and then she trails off, and she sort of chuckles. Yes. Did you have any questions?
Yes. When will the 1050 model be ready?
Well, the 1050 model is still being worked on. Unfortunately, my engineer's gone. It's a bit of messy business last night. And we've been having to do without Godric and Hulda, who slipped off those two scamps, our engineers, in the middle of the night. Not sure exactly where they went. But it's all fine. It's all good. That one won't be ready most likely until sometime next year.
Miss, I don't mean to intrude, but what do you mean messy last night? We tried to keep an ear to the ground if things are going on.
Well, I couldn't possibly trouble you with company business. This is something that I'll have to report back to the Castellanta Corporation on. And I'll tell you what, go ahead and make a persuasion check.
Okay.
Eli wants to pitch in. Our group helps find people for a living.
Well, and we try to fix problems that are hard to fix. Oh, shoot. +0. Guys. Blow on the...
You can have this... I'll tell you what, since Eli is attempting to assist you, you can have an advantage on your persuasion check.
Oh, 19. 18 and 19 was great.
So she looks at you and she says, well... And she sort of looks now. The crowd is started to disperse a little bit around you. As time has gone on, some of them stayed behind to watch from a distance your ride in the Tatorum. She now looks at you, Lithana, and gets a little closer to you, and you can smell the sweet smell of her perfume as she gets closer to you. And she says, "Well, one of our demo units went missing last night.
Which one?
The 2000 model. The Tortorum 2000 went missing last night.
The difference between that and this?
This one was armored and actually had a... it had a bit of a... how do I describe it? It's sort of like a special armor for clearing aside obstructions. It's a bit of a sharp protrusion on the front of the carriage, so that if you take it off-road, so to speak, you could clear out obstructions in your way. It is also was the only model that was weaponized.
It had weapons. What kind of weapons?
I believe that it was currently outfitted with a type of harpoon. I believe it's called a ballista. As a roof-mounted ballista.
Oh wow!
We've been working with the local authorities. They said that the doors for the facility where we were storing the three vehicles had been opened from the inside. I just assumed that Goldrick and Hulda had something to do with it. I'd like to think not. I've been working with Hulda for years, and Goldrick. They are both very upstanding individuals. I don't understand what they could have possibly got into them. If they did take this vehicle, I can possibly speculate.
How many 2000 models do you have, or is that the only one?
That was the prototype. I was only charged with demoing these three. Obviously, I'm in quite a bit of trouble. For the simple fact that demo unit is gone, plus two of my engineers are gone as well. So there will be an official inquiry. No, for sure. Heads will roll.
Your engineers are gone. Are they dead?
I don't know. I myself, my own memory of the afternoon until this morning actually is kind of fuzzy.
Huh.
Is there any more models that have you created? You have 3 with you. Is there any more that you're not telling us about? Special ones that those engineers can create?
This is it. These 3 display models were it. These are the prototypes. We ran into issues with the other one this morning. It wasn't working. The only reason it was in the same area as the 2000 model, the 1050. I mean, the 1000 model was in a separate area that was untouched. That facility, that building was not open. It was the other one with the 2 inside of it.
You think that's why they disabled the 1051?
I don't know. I don't know who could possibly be interested in these. The general public have no knowledge of these. I don't understand. The authorities say that they've gone around and they have interviewed individuals that were seen yesterday afternoon. They said that they couldn't find the woman that I described to them. Said that person was gone, so they didn't have a chance to speak to that woman.
Yes, unfortunately, authorities only can do so much. But if you hire a specialized group like us, we can dig deep and we find solutions to the problem that authorities can't. Would you be willing to pay if we accepted made some kind of arrangement?
What kind of arrangement are you talking about?
We find out what happened, get your engineers back.
We know what happened. Someone stole the blasted thing, and either my engineers absconded with it, or who knows what happened to them.
How about this, Itai? There's 2 solutions. Number 1 and best. We find the car. We find the person responsible. And we bring them in. Option 2. I don't know, things happen. If the car was somehow damaged or could not be found, we at least find who is responsible so that it can be passed on to you.
Well, I can't personally authorize hiring you for investigating this. I can tell you that all I can tell you is what I told the authorities this morning. If you really wish to stick your nose in this business above and beyond what the local authorities are doing, another set of hands and ears and eyes can't possibly do any wrong.
If we find your engineers into the bottom of everything, would you be willing to give us a vehicle
Give you a vehicle?
for our trouble?
I can't possibly allow you to take one of these prototypes. They're the prototypes. I can't possibly authorize that. That would be something that I would have to run up the chain, if you understand what I mean.
So who do we need to speak to get authorized and quickly? We have our own business to attend to.
Well, I can tell you, miss, that none of my supervisors will allow you to have one of these vehicles. But am I understanding that you are wishing to be hired to track down whoever took this vehicle?
Yes.
That's what you wish to do. Okay. I'll tell you what. The authorities here are pretty much useless. If you wish to have a crack at it, you're more than welcome to check out the facility where it was located. I can tell you exactly what I told the authorities, and then we'll go for there. How about that?
The price is always named in advance.
The reward is always up front, or talked about up front. Agreed.
I'll tell you what. We'll discuss a reward after I explain what I told the authorities.
Okay.
And then you can ascertain whether or not this is something you wish to take on.
Sure. Give me 1 second. Hey, Gunthrow. I'm sorry, we did not mean to ignore you. Please, come back to the area where you sold the car. We have a job to do. Or maybe a job to do. Maybe. Hello, Gunthrow.
Guthor, you hear the sound of Lathana's voice just sort of droning out of the ring now. She seems to be getting a bit impatient with you.
I empty my mug and I put the glass mug on top of the ring that we're both looking at and order another round.
Okay.
Gunthrow, Ender, you guys will not believe it. I got to ride in that thing, and it was so cool. It was like so fast. It was like faster than a dragon, and it didn't even hit any pedestrians. Guys, are you there?
All right, and
Guys?
now throw my ring underneath the glass.
It's just sort of like a muffled...
Good plan.
Yeah.
Exactly. So,
Like on Charlie Brown.
Mackenzie, now looking at Lathana, says, follow me, please. And she now gestures off down one of the streets off towards a larger building, which has which appears to be, it's about 2 blocks away, and she starts walking towards it.
Oh, by the way, my name is Ashley.
Ashley, nice to
Yes.
meet you. Please, this way, please. I will show you where the vehicles were stored.
Sure.
All right.
Auri, do you follow along with Eli and Ashley?
Yes.
Okay. As you continue on down the cobblestone streets, You can see in the crowd has begun to disperse. There are some individuals now that you're observing now which appear to be armed and are currently standing around at attention around the vehicles. You hadn't noticed them before. They almost seemed to slip into view as the crowd dispersed and as Mackenzie began to walk away. And after about 2 blocks, you come across a large building with an enormous set of double doors, which are currently open. And you can see now that there are clear signs of a bar which was once placed in there that seemed to like close off and lock this large double door, barn door style double door, and appeared to have been shattered. And there's chunks of wood scattered about all over the cobblestone. And within, you can see now, as you enter into the building, get towards the entrance into the building, you can see that there are what appears to be almost like a long drag mark that appears to arc out from the floor towards the exit. And Mackenzie says, "This is where they were stored, the 1050 and the 2000. As I told the authorities yesterday, all I could really remember from the afternoon until the morning, last thing I could remember was that some woman with fiery red hair had inquired about purchasing one of the vehicles. I explained that they were display models, that they're not intended for sale, and I bid her a good day, and she disappeared into the crowd. All the authorities could tell me is that this woman apparently had been observed driving around some sort of black coach."
Eli wants to look around the room, see if he
Okay.
can see anything. Anything out of the ordinary.
Lethana will as well. I shall assist him.
Sure. That's right.
Wow.
Get them natural 20s. So Eli, looking around the room, what the local authorities appear to miss is that there are a couple of windows that are up near the ceiling within this chamber. And on one side, you can see that the window is sort of like cracked open. And it's a strange window. The window itself is long. It's about 3 feet long, but only about 5 inches high. And there's the little bit of pane of glass, which is set on either end, either corner of the long edge, of the short edge, I should say. It appears to tilt. Like it's you adjust it with a chain, with a lever, to tilt the glass to let fresh air in. And it appears that one of them appears to be open.
I look under the window. Do I see any prints or any footprints or anything that looks disturbed right below the window?
You don't see anything disturbed within the window. You do notice that the gouge marks, which are within the soft earth of this sort of dirt floor chamber, clearly they seem to be about the same width of the other vehicle, the one that you didn't ride in. They seem to be about the same width as those tires were, those wheels.
Was that window closed last night? You kind of went up.
And as you say that, Mackenzie now looks and she puts a hand up to her chin and goes, "No, that was not open last night. In fact, I don't believe any of the constables mentioned anything about it. That is really strange."
Yes, indeed. As he kind of pulls out his notebook and starts writing all these notes.
And as you do that, one of a gentleman who is wearing like sort of like a chainmail, and he has a tabard now over it, and it has sort of like a golden tabard with like a black lettering and standard on it. And as he walks up, he says something in a hushed tone to Mackenzie, and he sort of pulls her away for a moment as if to try and shield it from the two of you. And Mackenzie begins to like have a conversation with him in low hushed tones, away from you three.
Did I hear what? Could I hear or try to hear what he said?
And that would be a perception check.
All right.
Or you could just use your passive, and I can tell you if you hear anything.
Oh, yeah, use my passive.
Well, with your passive perception, Eli, you hear something. It sounds like you heard the word coach. Found it.
Excuse me.
The man
Is
now
there any
looks up,
information?
sort of stone faced, and he sort of points at you and he says, he wags his finger, says, please, don't interfere in our investigation.
I apologize.
And Mackenzie now says, it's quite all right. These folk are seeking for the Castellanta Corporation to hire them to locate the vehicle. So whatever you have to say to me, you can say to him. You can repeat it back if you wish. And the man just sort of looks at you, Eli, sort of like closes his eyes a little bit, staring at you, tilts his head back with his chin out, and goes, very well, it's a bit unorthodox, but I guess so. This is your show after all. Fine. We found the black coach that you mentioned seeing, the woman with the red hair driving around town. It's a few blocks in that direction. It appears like it once at one time had some horses attached to it, but it's abandoned now.
We'll have to go check that out later. See if any more clues. I'll look around. Let me continue my investigation in here.
Wonderful. Splendid. Is that all, miss? And Mackenzie now looks to the man and says, yes, thank you. I appreciate it. And now she now turns and looks back at you, Lithana, and you, Ari, and says, well, it looks like the woman is, the vehicle that she was observed driving has apparently been found. That's good news, I suppose. It's kind of odd that our carriage is gone, her carriage is here. That seems awful, an awful bit of coincidence, don't you think? And as she walks up to the door jamb, the large door jamb with the double doors, and she just beats the door with her fist now. And looks back at you and says, blast it all.
Well, reward, or I mean, if you need our help, or you can rely on the local guard, do their job.
Well, they found the black coach at least.
Yeah, they missed the window. Pretty blatant, actually. A few other clues, and I kind of shut my notebook.
So, what's your offer?
Well, I am not authorized to hire you. However, the authorities said that nothing was seen leaving to the west. They have said that something, they're not sure what, but apparently this happened in the dead of night, on the easternmost gates of the city. Apparently something was seen screaming, as it was described to me, just screaming through the streets like a bat out of hell, or the nine hells. I can only assume that is our lost carriage, and apparently it's heading east.
Yes, east. We're going in that direction.
I like how Mark and Adam are just having their own adventure in the comments section. by themselves.
It's it's like a not safe for work sideshow.
So after this, you guys actually have to record and read back what you wrote.
Or they can just info dump you guys when you meet up with them. How about that?
Oh, that's true.
So Mackenzie now looks to the three of you and she says, well, I for one would like to go have a look at this carriage. You're welcome to
Yes.
tag along.
We'll tag along, but I can't say that without a reward or some kind of motivation.
You know what, you little fucker? Come here for a second. And she grabs you by your ear and she starts pulling you away from Auri and Lithana and says, look, if you want to continue to try and flirt and you know, show some bravado and try to show off for your two friends here, that's all fine and good. But I've already told you once before that I'm not authorized to pay you. But I can possibly work something out. I don't have any engineers to drive the other vehicle. I have to go to Zilargo. I have to take the two that I have left to the Zilargo. I can't drive both of them. Someone has to watch one. So I'll tell you what, I'll make a deal. Will you accept payment of a trip east in one of these vehicles?
Yes.
You can escort the 1000 to Trollenport. That is our destination.
I'll accept that on one last condition. When they are happily ready to the public, we can get our hands on a 2000. When it's ready, all said. In a couple years.
Isn't this guy funny? Isn't funny?
Mackenzie just sort of like one hand on her hip, another hand sort of out in front of her, gesturing like she was going to say something. She closes her mouth and she looks at you and sort of smiles and says, "Sure, absolutely."
Inside check.
My people will get in touch with your people, and vice versa. Yeah, she seems pretty on the level.
Okay.
Well,
yeah,
if you don't mind, perhaps we could go take a look at this bitch's coach.
Okay.
And she just sort of turns on heel and begins walking away, not letting you finish your sentence. And she gestures with one of her hands, her feathers sort of bobbing as she walks away from you. Are you coming?
Yes, we're coming.
I'm gonna follow behind them, but I'm gonna put my ring up to my to my mouth again and just be like, Ender? Gunthral? Guys? Are you there? There's kind of stuff happening.
As you looks over at Rafana. I got ourselves a car.
As you continue on down, as you continue on the cobblestone street, you eventually find a couple of buildings that are close together with about enough space for this carriage. And down this long, dark alleyway, you can see just sort of silhouette. The light from an ever-bright lantern a few feet away from it is cast on this vehicle that appears to be made just of pure black wood. The light doesn't show reflection. You just see a black, boxy-shaped, the rear end of a black, boxy-shaped vehicle with large spoked wheels. And Mackenzie immediately starts heading down the alleyway directly towards the vehicle. And she turns, looks back to make sure that you're all following, and then continues on. And as she approaches it, probably about 7 feet away from it, she stops. Hands on her hips, and she looks, and she turns around and sort of huffs and blows the peacock feather out, which was starting to like lean over her hat into her face. Well, that's exactly it. That's all I really remember. That's definitely the coach that bitch was riding in. Driving, I should say. And as you get closer to the coach, Auri, this seems very familiar. And you have a thought now, and you begin reaching into your bag, and you pull out a batch of notes. And as you pull out one of the sheets of notes that was handed to you by Vior Malik, your contact with the Dark Lanterns, and you hold up this drawing next to the carriage. You realize that is an exact image of the black carriage that Elric was seen leaving Sharn in.
Lathana? Eli?
Yes.
Could you look at this for a moment? And I'm going to hand it to Eli.
I think Lithana went to the market, but Ashley is here. She just gives her a wink.
Mackenzie just sort of throws a glance your way, Lathana. And you just hear her go, right. Well, and she begins walking towards the coach and reaching up to open the door.
Oh, that's the coach.
And
Identical, right?
as she pulls open the door to the coach, 2 bodies fall out. And she just sort of steps back, jumps back a few feet. And she reaches out to, you can see now, a young woman who is completely pale. And there is a young man. Godric! What have they done to you?
Lithana stoops down and looks at the bodies that fell out. Can she tell how they were...
How they were killed?
Or are they dead?
They look really dead. They're both very pale.
Can she see any wounds or...
You can make an investigation check.
Okay, let's see. Heh. They're dead.
They're very dead. They appear very pale. And as you are running your hands over their clothing around close to where their collars of their pressed shirts are, you're noticing gaping wounds and where the throats used to be. Both bodies, their throats have been torn out. And what's striking to you isn't so much that the throats have been torn out, it's that there's no blood.
Mackenzie, I'm so sorry. I assume this is your crew, huh?
Mackenzie just sort of, eyes wide, says, if you don't track down that bitch and put the sword to her, then by all the gods, I will. And she now pulls out a sending stone from within her pack, and she turns, she looks at you, Auri, just sort of like she's listening to you, but she's not hearing you. And she pulls out, I found them. Yes. They're both dead. And you can hear sort of like a buzzing noise that's coming from the sending stone. It's very unusual. It's not like anything that you've observed before. Usually when you use a sending stone, a sound emanates from it, and you can hear it almost like a projection. But this, every time a sound is played from the stone, all you hear is a buzzing noise, like a loud insect. She turns now, after speaking into the stone for a moment, looks at all 3 of you, and looks to you, Eli, and she says, well, you want to earn your vehicle or not?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Apparently you are searching for a murderer.
I bring murders to justice.
If you don't mind, and Lithana takes out a piece of paper and writes out the name of Mackenzie and the sky coach, or sorry, not sky coach, the coach, and the reward, and says, if you don't mind, just sign right here. I have to keep a record of this.
Mackenzie just sort of takes it from you absent-mindedly and pulls out a quill with a little set of ink, and she sort of dips it into it real quick, and she scrawls. And she says, "Here, when you're back in Sean, you can take this directly to the offices of the Castellanta Corporation."
Thank you. And Lethana takes out another little notebook that has little scribbles on it and writes down something.
Don't worry, we'll find him. As Eli goes around, looks at the dirt, picks up the dirt, sniffs it. Acts like he's investigating when he already knows everything that happened.
The stench of...
He already...
There's a sour note to the air in this area around the coach. And the bodies themselves, their clothing is dirty, grimy, and has that sour smell to them. And Mackenzie now says, "Well, I'm sure you have things that you need to do. I don't know when you're planning on setting out. I will make the Totorum 1000 available to you, and whenever you need it, you may depart the city. I will be leaving in the morning." Well, actually, and she tilts her head to the side and thinks, "Scratch that, I'll be leaving tonight. Is there anything that you wish to ask me about the Totorum vehicle before I leave?"
Yeah, does it drive itself completely, like we can all sleep and it will take us to our destination?
Once you select Trollimport as your destination, yes, it will take you to your destination. However, in an emergency, you can assume control by gripping the Atlas slate from the console, and it will allow you to steer the vehicle.
Alright. Anything else we should know? Is there a key, a command word?
The Atlas slate will be programmed and ready for you, and only you. And she begins walking up now, and she takes a little sliver of metal. And it's triangular shaped, but the points are filed off. There's no sharp edges on it. And it has sort of an intricate design on it. And she just says, "As long as you have this in your possession, you can operate the vehicle."
Okay, thank you. Take that.
The Atlas slate will detect that you have gotten close to the console.
All right. Thank you.
One more question. Do you know of a local cleric in this area?
Well, I'm sure you can find a temple. There are plenty of them in this area. I believe there's a temple to the Sovereign Host somewhere within the city, if you're looking for healing.
Yeah, we might need something of the sort.
However, I do recommend that you hit the road, so to speak, as quickly as possible.
Yes, one of our companions may need some assistance. It would make the journey much. But anyways, thank you. You've been very helpful, and we will do our best.
Oh, I'm sure you will. And she just sort of waves her hand at you now. And as she says that, you look down to the end of the alley. You can see now a progression of individuals wearing the same colors as the man that was speaking to her before. And as they head into the alley now, a few of them pull out wands. And one of them begins to cast a spell with it. And a few of the individuals are now pushing the three of you away from the coach. And as they push you three away from the scene, you can see now that suddenly a shimmery, silvery field, like a bubble, is emitted and completely covers this area, this section of and completely blocks off your view from the alleyway, from the coach, from the bodies.
Well, we must find them. I want my car.
I suppose we should try and contact them again. I'm gonna put my ring back up to my face. Ender? Control? Hello? Is this thing working?
Oh, let me see. I'm gonna detect. I'll cast detect magic to see if the ring still works.
The ring is still appears to be emitting magical effects coming off of it.
Ender.
You now hear a raucous crowd coming from the ring as Gunthral begins speaking.
Hey, yeah, what, yeah, well.
What? Where on earth have you... Why do you sound drunk, first of all? Second of all, where are you? Third of all, why haven't you been answering our calls?
And it's for you.
Hey, new phone, who dis?
Had to cover my mic so you wouldn't hear me laughing at that.
By the mother, where are you two?
What is this tavern called? Where are we?
Oh, great. He doesn't even know where they are.
You're asking the drunk guy?
Ender, make a Constitution saving throw. Actually, that's really good. So, Ender, you were sort of wobbling a little bit. Your vision is blurred. You're looking out one of the windows, which is open along one of the walls that borders the edge of the tavern that you're in. And you can clearly see a sign which has what appears to be a short, fat dwarf leaning up against a boot.
I hope it's called Dwarf Fortress.
No, it's called the Drunken Cobbler.
We
are at the Drunken Cobbler.
Empty mug.
One at a time, boys. What?
Empty
The Drunken Mug.
The drunken mug? What?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Dwarven
The
Cobbler.
drunken mug.
Yeah, I need another drink. My mug's empty. Hey, what happened to my overfill one? What happened to that?
You did have one of those, yes. Can I see it?
You want to see what? You want to see my what?
The mug. The mug.
You're considering to hear their conversation as it projects very loudly with the sound of the background of the pub emitting from your ring, Auri. It's almost deafening as you're holding the ring away from your ear.
I got it. Watch this. Hey, little man, come here. Before you leave, before you go out and kill yourself, come here. I got something.
Okay, we better get going.
Does the little guy come back over, the one I was picking on?
Yes, he does.
I start to laugh and giggle. I reach into my bag and I throw out that rug on him.
Oh shit!
No!
Oh my god!
Gunthral pulling out his bag of holding with a sly, rakish grin on his face, turns and he looks at this little man and he sort of makes a hurling motion, holding onto the edges of the bag of holding. As he pulls it open, a rug emerges and arcs through the air and wraps around this little creature. And all the people around are laughing and screaming. Some of them are running away as this rug has enveloped this little guy, and it is currently sort of inchworming along the floor with it like a snake that has eaten something and is currently moving away from you.
Punch your way out of that bag. Come on. But you can't do it.
Gunthral, you start to feel a little funny. Like you feel like you're going
finally
to.
the alcohol's finally working.
You feel like you're going to vomit. Make a Constitution saving throw. Okay.
Oh.
Damn, another 20. Holy shit.
Guthrie, you started to feel a little bit of a wobbly sensation in your stomach, and like you were about to hurl, and you force it down. Oh. And when you turn around and you look at Ender, and Ender looks at you, and Ender, your eyes begin to go wide. For what you
I'm
see
not going
before
to be
you,
standing in front of him if he's puking.
he doesn't hurl.
I'm going to action surge and get out of there.
What you see before you is Gunthral, your traveling companion, which you've seen many times before. Suddenly sprouts hair all over his face, like emerging and cascading out from his nose and his brow, just, and his whole head is covered in fur. And now,
All right, before I was
Guthrie,
just smiling. Now I'm laughing.
Guthrie, you feel like a bit warmer now. And as you reach your arms out and hands in front of you, you're watching as this fur begins to spread along the exposed areas of your skin, and your nails begin to elongate about an inch. Each one of your nails sprouting, growing. And you see now, Ender, this shifting as his features now sort of flatten a bit. His nose begins to flatten a little bit. And his ears begin to get a little bit pointier and sort of shift, and his jaw gets a bit more pronounced. And as he's motioning his mouth around and lolling his tongue in his mouth, you can see now that his incisors, his canines, are growing about an inch and a half longer than what they were. And standing before you, Ender, is your former traveling companion, now morphed into what appears to be a bipedal tiger. And that's where we're going to end for tonight.
Wow.
You two are in so much trouble.
I know.
What'd we do?
You ignored me!
Gosh dang it. I thought you were gonna look something like that.
Also, you guys can call or text me. My Discord, especially lately, since I haven't been playing any MMOs or any online gaming, I've been super distant from Discord. It's basically I only read this stuff when I'm on my computer. And if I'm not on my computer, you guys... Also, Facebook. I don't have Facebook on my phone at all. I don't look at Facebook. Just send me a text or call me.
You don't feel bad. I don't have Facebook either.
I've got Facebook. How else am I going to tell the world about all my problems?